Hi, my name's Melissa Perkins, and this is my reflection on our teaching unit. I'll next cover the four questions that we were asked to cover in this short video presentation. First of all, how did the task yield appropriate evidence of the identified understandings? So the units that I taught, or the teaching unit that covered 2 different days, covered this book. It is the story of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It was a 5th grade class. That there are no English language learners. They're all pretty proficient readers, and they were asked to read this book prior to the day 1 lesson. So in the previous lesson prior to this teaching unit, and to come to class prepared to do assignments on that. So on day 1, they were asked to prepare a book box slide presentation for the one remote learner that we had. And they were asked to prepare that based on the facts from the book. The students were asked to first draw on paper an organized cluster with at least 4 clusters and at least 3 facts per cluster. And that is kind of like a lollipop, where the first center cluster would be the topic of the book, in this case, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and then satellite popsicles with lines from that outlining the different fact clusters. So it could be about the jobs she's had, the cases she fought, her childhood. However they wanted to organize the facts that they learned from the book, they could do that. The students are allowed to supplement that book box with graphic if they wanted to, just to show creativity, and that was through internet searches, so a way for them to use technology, and they are assigned Chromebooks and have a printer available. On day 2, they were to write a 2 or more page paper to be submitted in Google Docs and shared verbally via an author's chair, where they could set and share one at a time to the class. And the papers should have had a minimum of 10 facts, and they could use their organized cluster that they used on day 1. So how did the task involve a complex real-world application of the identified knowledge, skill, and understandings? So on the first day, we were I asked them whether they read the book and about specific vocabulary words. The vocabulary words were within the context of the book and also available at the back of the book. I didn't point to those specifically, but we went through the different topics and had a pretty in-depth discussion about the meaning of anti-Semitism, discrimination, gender discrimination, dissent, equal rights, Supreme Court, and trailblazer. So again, those were all words within the book. We discussed the timely nature of the book, given the passing of Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her life being celebrated throughout the U.S. and beyond. Other tasks involved the writing of the paper and sharing with the classroom that demonstrated their reading, writing, and verbal communication skills. The organized clusters that they demonstrated their ability to kind of organize facts on their own into the categories not supplied by them, and prepare the book box, gave them a kind of an avenue to show the creativity of depicting the facts and any graphics they wanted to use, and the use of technology when they wrote the papers and when they submitted that via Google Docs. How are a variety of appropriate assessments used? There were many different formative assessments. We discussed whether all had read it. We discussed the book topic itself, with people answering, what did they find most interesting? They were able to raise their hand and talk about the vocabulary meaning, the words, meaning of the different words that we discussed. Through the organized clusters, they also could write those down and really show what they knew from the book and what they learned. And certainly in the rubric of when they were graded, a rubric was provided prior to writing their paper and was available when they wrote their paper. And that was a way to give a formative assessment on their writing skills. Finally, are they able to self-assess, and either during, while, or after they were able to self-assess when they were given the question and answer sessions with the teacher, when they were making the organized clusters, when they were making the book box, writing their papers, and sharing their work. They kind of had to self-assess before. Do they remember what they read? What are the facts? Do I need to go back and check those, or do I recall them specifically? So thank you very much. And I enjoyed this lesson and enjoyed very much teaching this lesson. Thank you.